never felt.
That made no sense for the
I
episode.
have never felt more strong allegiance to Dad Garg in this family ever in my life before. Like,
That literally
I
made
have
no
never-
sense.
Hello, Namaste, Auntie Zarna here with the Zarna Garg Family Podcast, and 4 Gargs are in the house today. So excited to have 4 Gargs. The 5th one is in school. Unfortunately, school is back in session, but he will be back for remaining episodes. But right now, we have my husband of 25 years, Shalab Garg, my daughter who's a senior in college, Zoya Garg, and my son who's a freshman in college, Bridge Garg. And we are ready to kick off this year with a bang. And today's topic is very spicy. It is very hot. We're not going to agree. We are not going to get along. And we are going to talk about how families resolve family disputes. What is the appropriate way to disagree? What is the appropriate way to fight fairly? What are lines that we do not cross? And what are things that have worked for us in the past or not worked for us in the past? So, who wants to kick this spicy topic off, or should I do, as per usual, do the needful?
Can we just do first moment of silence for Veer not being here? I know that everybody loves Veer and his comments, and now he's not going to be here. I just feel like at some level we should just acknowledge that Veer is not here, but he's at school. School is important to him. I even said to him last night, Veer, do you want to just miss school or not skip school? Just come back early. He's like 10 blocks away. He could have come and done it, but he would refuse to miss school.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you should have given him that offer to skip school for a podcast shoot, but nevertheless, luckily, our 13-year-old is very, very sensible and had his wits about him and decided to do the right thing, which was to go to school. So,
Of course,
on
college never starts. That's a different point because both of
college never starts. That's a whole different topic of episode. Somehow, college is not starting until almost February for the two kids that we're paying a lot of money for. But that we digress. Let us get right into the issue of family disagreements. Does anybody have strong opinions on the topic of family disagreements?
I guess I will start. The
Okay.
family disagreements. We had a recent one,
Mhm.
a few days ago, and I feel like in family disagreements, communication ends up being the single most important thing.
Hmm.
Now, what kind of communication, how you communicate, etc., is a whole additional topic.
Mhm.
But I do think that communication is really, really important, both as a joint amongst all of you, also one on one, between each member of the family, and communication is probably the single most important thing I could point to.
Okay. I personally am team don't communicate, so this might explain the state of our family and why we don't fully agree on everything. But what about you guys? Zoya, Bridge, when we have a fight, do you like it when we talk it out, or would you prefer that we stay in, like dad and I stay in our room and fight and don't get you guys involved?
I definitely like it when you involve us, just because I think that we're both old enough to give like good input on our opinions, and I think that our opinions do affect the way that you guys like view your own stances within your fights, because it's a good outside perspective with no bias. So
Is
I
that
like it.
so? It's an age specific thing. So if you were before you were 19 or 18, when you were 12, 13, and 14, would you have preferred it another way?
Yeah, when I was younger, I probably want to be left out just because I don't know. It's just hearing about it is more stress, and I can't really give anything to help you guys. Like, I'm just kind of like, it would just make me more stressful. It wouldn't help you guys. There's just no point.
One thing that prohibits us from offering any feedback is feeling like the response is going to be, but you're not married, so what do you know about marriage? Or you're only whatever age, you don't have enough experience to be speaking on the disagreement mom and I are having or dad and I are having. And I think that's lazy. I think parents should listen to what their kids have to say. Not because their kids are trying to criticize, but because your kids are the only people that are living with you both as parents every single day and can hear both sides more objectively. And so one thing that I do appreciate is, as Bridge said, it is good when you guys involve us, especially now that we're older, and you hear out what we have to say.
Right. I don't think that it's an age specific thing, by the way. Your mother and I were married in early 20s, and at that time we did not involve our parents to make that decision for us. In fact, neither one of our families was truly supportive at the time, and we did what we wanted to do. So I don't think that age is I don't consider age a relevant factor. I think people mature when they mature. There are people that are young and mature, and same for business as well. People find and create businesses at 21, and many don't at 51. So so hence I don't think age is. I don't personally agree with the age thing.
Um, as usual, your dad is gonna say things that you two like to hear. This is the story of our marriage, and he knows that you want to hear that you're mature and all that. I defend the point of view that you're not necessarily gonna be able to understand all perspectives, because some things you just don't understand until you're in the shoes of that topic. Are you okay?
Nobody is saying that kids understand the full extent of what you guys are arguing about. That's not what anybody has ever said. When kids offer their opinions on situations or fights based on their life experience, it's obviously fragmented, and it is obviously up to you guys to take what you want and leave what you don't. But I think hearing out what kids have observed is valuable.
Yeah, of course. And we do kind of hear, I mean, I'm very open minded, as we all know. And I do hear everything out. But what you might not be aware of is that parents have a typical habit of manipulating kids also. Kids manipulate parents, but parents also manipulate kids. And sometimes when the parents are arguing and there's a fight between the two parents, it's like becomes a contest on who's going to be the more popular parent with the kids. Do you ever feel that?
Yeah, I agree with that. Did you ask me that question or the kids?
I'm asking everybody. Like,
Yeah,
Bridge,
I
have you
totally.
ever felt that way?
I've never felt that way. Where
I've
you guys are
never
trying to
felt that
compete
way.
over like who the kids like more.
Hmm.
You don't feel like your dad tries to appease you guys when him and I fight?
No,
Like, he might suddenly say, "Let's get a new iPhone."
I
No.
don't think he's
I
ever
don't
said
think
that.
I have ever offered anything material to any one of the kids as
I
a resolution.
I don't know about that.
With
I feel
family disputes, the most important aspect of a good family dispute is assuming the best of the family member's intent.
okay. And
Innocent until proven guilty.
and do you think we are able to do that? Like, I mean, yes, that the idea of it is great, but are we able to, in practice, be able to do that?
No. Which
Okay.
is why what I don't know if this happens in other families, but our family disputes end up being a chronological dump of everything you possibly could have gone wrong and done wrong and acted in a mischievous way of any
But do you
kind.
guys feel like your mother is really controlling in those matters? Like when
Yes.
there is a dispute, she just overwhelms everyone by, you know, imposing her strong personality on the dispute so that there is no room for what I started this podcast by saying, the key ingredient being communication. So nobody can truly communicate because she's just so strong and overwhelming that how is somebody supposed to communicate?
Zoya,
I feel that way a lot.
I
what?
feel that way too.
Are you guys literally gonna betray me right now? You feel
I
that
don't
way?
know.
Both of you feel that way a lot? Is this a joke? Is this a prank going on?
Guys, if I can add to that, if Veer was present, would he have agreed with this as well?
Yes.
So actually, all three kids and me all feel that
Okay.
way at
Okay.
some
I
level.
see how it is. I see how it is.
But Dad, you're just proving her earlier point
See this?
because you're manipulating the fact that you got all three kids on board on top of this discussion. I mean, for what it's worth, if mom is very domineering in these conversations, but she's also the only one willing to start many of the conversations. If it were up to you, if something went really wrong, would you be the one who initiated a very intense family discussion?
No.
I
The
think
answer is no. Yeah, if you have to think that deeply, the answer is no. Like, what are you talking about? I cannot believe that all three of you think I'm dumb. You know what? Next time, I'm just not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna sit there silently.
I just defended you.
You say that every time, and then you never sit
You
silently.
defended me after saying yes first, and
But
you gave him a big win. You know, when you said yes, he started laughing, and he's like, "Oh, I know. If I got her, I'm gonna get
I
all
mean,
three."
Brit just in a few minutes ago said that as a grown up, he has his own mind. So you cannot manipulate him to say or do anything, in my opinion.
This is a dad doing pick me.
That's
Do
a
you
big
know what pick me means?
no.
This is him doing pick me with you guys, and you're totally falling for it.
What is pick me?
The-
Like pick me as in the English word pick space me?
yes, like pick me, like I'm the good parent
Oh,
over
okay,
here.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you guys, okay, whatever. I'm not even gonna get into my hurt feelings right now because we're gonna keep this podcast rolling. But what are some things we've learned are lines we do not cross? That when we are having an active disagreement, this is a line that we try our best not to cross because we know that if we do, it's gonna be like irreversible.
We don't raise our hand on each other. So
Oh,
I don't
well,
hit the kids. I've never hit the kids.
no,
You know, I don't think.
no, of course not. No, what?
I mean, that's a line. That's a hard line. Don't hit the kids.
Okay,
Well,
I mean, yes,
I
okay,
mean, we have seen in New York City a man in the same business as me
yes,
hit his son. What
yes.
I don't know what age the son was. Maybe 13-year-old son
Yeah.
in
We
front
saw
of our eyes.
an Indian father beat his son up in front of our eyes. We were so shocked.
Yes, and
You,
I think
you,
Zoya may remember it. Bridge may not.
I do remember it. It was really shocking. So I actually think that's a fair. I mean, I'm sad that that's something that needs to be articulated. But yes, I have never been afraid that somebody was going to do anything.
I mean, now you're too strong yourself that it's hard to hit you because you will hit back.
Yeah,
But I'm saying as a child.
and don't forget that. Even mom said, I was like, do you want me to come when you guys are having your disagreement? And she was like, I could beat him up in 10 seconds. So.
okay.
You know, raising a hand, I think is like people take it for given, but I don't think one should take it for a given.
I think another hard line is making it a personality defect, like making it really personal when a situation goes wrong is a line that I try not to cross. Like, I think that can be really hurtful because
I think mom crosses across that line a lot.
yeah, you
What?
definitely do. But when I have disagreements with other family members within our five, I never try to insinuate that there's something fundamentally at the core level wrong with that person's personality and that there's nothing that they can't change, right? And I think when you make it a personal attack, it's really hard to find any hope from that point onward.
I'm the queen of logic. What are you talking about? There is no personal attacks happening here ever. I only focus on the facts.
Can you give an example, Zoya?
Facts, not feelings.
It's saying that somebody is just an anxious person and that their feelings or that they're you know
Oh my god.
that their feelings are not valid
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
because they're just an anxious person is not necessarily conducive to growth or
Okay,
change.
okay.
I just
agree.
cannot. No, Bridge, you do not
Can
agree.
you even like what? Can you give an example, Bridge? Similar. To,
Yes.
Hmm.
Sometimes mom will get mad at me and just like make up like completely random things that are just completely not true.
What are
Like
you
remember
talking
we
about?
talked about it in a different episode too. Remember that one time you got mad at me and then say I contribute nothing to this family, and then
Bridge, that
and then
is
you can.
That I don't think the mother would ever use this.
that is so.
She said that. It's not a thing, or that is the word for word what she said.
Okay, one thing that
Honestly, you guys, if you truly believe that, there's just nothing more to be said.
But you said it. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
but
I didn't.
you,
It must have
fine.
had a
Bridge,
context.
you know what? You know what? Then believe that. Just believe that.
What?
oh my god.
You know,
There is zero chance in
no,
hell.
this is not funny at all. You guys, if your overarching picture is that mom is capable of
Okay,
saying
can I just say something?
You said it. It's not over.
No,
it's
can
not.
I just say something?
Hold
I
on,
was there.
hold
no,
on. Do you believe that? Do you
believe what?
that I
Believe
said
what?
that I meant that?
No, I don't believe you meant it. But it's a fact you said it.
But it must have had a
You
context.
know what? I should go and nitpick every word that comes out
Okay,
of your
this
mouth.
No,
is this is something that okay. This
Bridge
is
will hold. He believes
no, he won't.
the 99,000 things that I've done will now in a moment like this he will say
I didn't say anything. All I'm saying is that you have crossed that line before.
Okay,
It's not like
this
She
is
believes that each one of you kids contributes more than any other kid.
no one is
stop
arguing
glazing.
that.
Stop glazing.
Oh my god, I'm so tired of
That
this.
was top glaze. Was that not
What
glaze?
the hell?
What's
Bridge,
a
that was
glaze?
glaze, right?
What's a
Yes, it
glaze?
was.
That's not
Okay.
glaze at all.
What's a
He's
glaze?
not. Like you're trying to appease the kids.
Oh, I'm not trying to appease you, and in fact, on the earlier point, I did agree, but this is just unfair. Completely.
Wait, I just want to pull. Okay, this is something that is fundamentally different in American family disputes and Indian family disputes. American family disputes, people care a lot about the words that are said to them, the words that are like lingering, and like people stay on the words. In Indian family disputes, it seems like when people would just say horrible things to you, even if they didn't mean it, you would just let it go. Like you would just forget about it because the words never actually meant anything. Whereas I do think in American, like I do hold on to words, even though I know you didn't mean them. I know that you didn't mean them. You said things like that to me too. They do linger in my head. And I think that's a fundamentally different form of, arguments between Indian and American families.
But all the 5 million nice things I do for you and things that I do to watch out for you don't linger in your head.
No, okay. Immigrant parents are very action-oriented parents. Your joke, I never say I love you, is very rooted in the kernel of truth. That is that you've never said that to us. But with that comes with the fact that we don't actually hear positive words from you. Like we see it through your actions, like no doubt about it. Like you will cut fruit, you will cut pineapple whenever we do something, or make all sorts of different actions to show, you'll get us a tutor if we need it, like all these different things. But you never say like, you did a great job and I'm so proud of you, right? But when we're fighting, you do say like things that are hurtful. So I think it's hard to reconcile the lack of the positive words with the, does that make sense?
I mean, it sounds pretty intelligent, but I don't know.
Okay.
I cannot believe that Bridge would. Anyway, all right. So this is the story with family disputes that you will
Start into a
say.
dispute right here.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe that he would say that.
Say what? What did I
I
say?
cannot believe that that's your memory. That one thing I may have said in passing in a moment of anger is the thing that you remember and you hold on to.
Hold on. It's not like you were like, "What do you remember about me?" And I said, "Oh, I remember you said this." We're talking about specific times where people have crossed the line.
Okay.
By the
Right.
way, Bridge,
Well,
you
well, lucky for you, I don't remember any such times. And I want to no, and I want to believe that those times have happened when you or your sister or your brother or your dad have crossed lines with me. I choose not to remember them, just so you know that, because that is also a choice. It's just I choose to look at the bigger picture, the overall picture of what we
I
are.
have not thought about that moment since this
Well, it's
episode.
clearly sitting at the front of your
No,
head.
it's obviously not sitting at the front of my head.
Why are you laughing?
Why?
No, but I don't know why you're laughing.
Because it's obviously not sitting at the front of his head. Like it's not. Like I get that. Okay, I get that hurt your feelings. Like Bridge does understand that you think he does a lot for this family. In that moment, you didn't feel that way. And one thing that I think is hard is you do initiate all the fighting and family disputes is where change happens, right? Change does not happen when everybody is just pretending like everybody is fine and everything's good. Like change happens when you really get into it with somebody and you figure out this is not going to work for this reason and we have to move forward from this. And so for that reason, I think it's really unfair to pick on mom's words because like dad, you don't initiate family
I'm not
argument.
picking on her words.
No,
What
I'm
is
not-
going on? No,
hold
this
on.
makes no sense. Both you and mom are like actually making no sense.
Oh my god!
I'm not picking on her words. The question was there ever a time where mom crossed the line? And I said, oh, you know what? If I think about it, there was one time where she did cross the line. It's not like, oh, I've been thinking about this.
No,
I'm tripping on her words. It was one moment, and that was the question, and I answered the question. There was nothing more to it. That was the extent of the thought behind it.
I agree with you. I wasn't talking about that instance. I was saying in general, like the meta argument of this conversation. do words matter when you're in a family dispute? That is the core crux of what we're talking about. Mom is saying no, especially if the parent didn't mean it, because people say things in the heat of the moment. You are demonstrating the fact that there is words that are still sitting in your head despite it not actually sitting in your head.
I am not. There is no word sitting in my head. I don't understand how you guys are trying to describe this as anything more. There
Okay,
is no word sitting in my head.
I understand what you're saying.
Like, I can't erase my memory. I don't have that option to just
I
be
agree
like,
with you.
like it's not, but it's not like I'm like, oh, I can't believe she said that still. Like, I just like literally cannot erase it. Like, there's nothing I can do to erase it. It's just like if someone asked me, did your mom ever say that? I'm like, oh yeah, she did say that. But it's not like, oh my god, I can't. I just can't forget about the fact that you said that. It's like I literally cannot forget. Like literally, like it's in my brain storage. There's no way I can go inside my brain and get rid of it. That's just not possible. But it's not like I'm thinking about it.
Okay, all right. What are some positive ways that we've resolved disputes?
Space.
No, that doesn't mean anything.
That gets mom more mad than
I
anything.
know, I know.
What does space mean?
Time.
I thought you guys were team communication. I'm very confused. How is that going to be
Communication is
If
making
you're
sure
gonna sit, everybody is just gonna sit in their own room and close the doors.
communication is making sure that you are in a position where your emotions have resolved to an extent that you can actually have a clear and honest communication.
Okay.
That comes with space and time.
No, that sounds like dragging things out to me. I don't know.
I think that I don't know. And in my opinion, like in nowadays, if anyone gets in a fight, I feel like it's just more, just both understanding that it's not that serious and you'll get over it. It's just like talking about something small to get like through it.
By the way, do you ever have fights, Bridge, with your siblings? Forget about mom and dad.
Oh my god, we fight all the time.
How do you resolve those?
Whoever's older wins. Like,
Yeah.
that's just like more of like,
Whoever's older, honestly though, like we're really good at apologizing to each other. Like the boys were really irritating me this week. Like they hadn't eaten dinner. It had been 4 hours after the comedy show. It was late at night. We were in a random city. I had tried 4 or 5 different places to organize food from. None of them were working. I felt exhausted and annoyed. And the next day, I expressed that inadvertently.
But just to be
through
clear,
Mom.
me and Veer did like absolutely nothing wrong in this scenario. This was just Dee overall frustration, and we apologize for the fact that like she was upset at us, but there was actually no reasoning behind like our logic behind why she had the reasoning to be upset with us.
But
Bro,
she was
that's
trying-
actually so annoying. Like now I'm annoyed. Like now we can just dissolve this family dispute into just
But
more family
Bridge,
disputes.
She was
That's
trying to
actually
put
so
the dinner
annoying.
together.
Veer told me 8 times I want chicken from this place. Okay, I put chicken from that place. Then that place closed. Okay, Veer,
Yes,
what do you want
I
food
agree.
from? No, you were not in the car when we were doing this in the car. Actually, I had tried 3
But hold on,
different
why is
delivery
that me
places.
and Veer's fault that the places weren't working?
Because
We
it's
didn't
not-
decide to close them down.
No, it's not your fault that the places kept closing. It was because when a place was not closed, you guys would not make a decision. And so I was there stuck Googling 100 different places on my New Year's Eve when I could have been in San Francisco with my friends.
Like what? You tried to order food for yourself and someone else, and the place
I
was
was trying
closed.
I was trying to order food for all of you guys. And I kept having the cart half full, and then you would be like, no, I want to go to a place in
Now,
person.
can I just pause you guys for a minute? Now, do you see why your mom just orders extra and lots of everything sometimes? Because why
This fight isn't about you.
No,
You are not. You
No,
have to
I'm
like.
trying to explain because it leads to another fight. When I make plans and when I order food, typically everybody thinks I order too much. I didn't ask take specific orders. I didn't ask this one. I didn't because the process of trying to get 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people to agree to come up. Like at some point, somebody has to take leadership and say, this is what we're gonna do. This is what's showing up, and this is what we're gonna eat. Otherwise, like New Year's Eve, no one will eat anything.
Okay, I
How
just want
did
to point
you
out
then ultimately?
that I agree with Mom's statement and understand it, but I think the way that she did that while me and Didi were trying to resolve a fight was just not right.
No, you guys are not resolving the fight. Now your sister is upset, and I see it in her face.
Yes,
And
so we're trying to
No,
we're trying to resolve it, and then you come in, and then you bring up your whole like.
No. We're gonna come up with the main topic of this topic, which we have just discovered in Bridge's words. Either you and your dad and I actually had a rule about this 25 years ago. So this is something we have successfully lived with to some extent. Either you're apologizing or you're not apologizing. You cannot say I apologize, but really I didn't do anything wrong. Either you're saying, I'm sorry, this shouldn't have been done this way, or you're saying, I have nothing to apologize for and defend your stance.
I
Because
completely agree.
why Zoya is upset, I understand. You can't say we're apologizing for us to be in this situation, but we didn't actually do anything. That's not fair, because now we're not sure what you're saying. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
As
Yeah,
a
I
rule,
agree.
your dad and I 25 years ago had decided either there will be an unqualified apology, or just stand your ground and fight it out. Two of us have had that rule for years, that when we don't feel we have something to apologize, we will fight to the bitter end until we get to the bottom of it, but we will not just apologize and walk away thinking I didn't mean that apology.
I find it really difficult to win an argument in this family when I'm in the right because no one is willing to accept the fact that they're wrong.
I'm the most accepting.
There is no way that you think you're the most
Show me
accepting.
a flaw, I'm the first one to say, yes, you're right. I'm sure I've said it many, many times.
I can't name one time you said yes, you're right, and that was the end of the conversation. What? Because even when you're close to that, you'll just pivot to a different argument and where you were right,
But
and then it
what's
becomes that
upsetting-
bad.
How did the food thing resolve?
What's upsetting about this particular situation is that you and Veer did apologize to me in what I thought was a sincere manner, where I felt like you understood where I was coming from and you understood why it was not fair to me. And now you basically just took that apology back and made it so that I don't even trust your apologies anymore. So that's what's upsetting me more than anything else. As for like you being right and you feeling like you can't be right, I feel like I'm very, very good personally at making sure that I can understand the kernels of what is right in situations and conversations. I think that's one of the key roles I play in this family. So I don't think that's fair that you're saying that to me in this context. I agree with you that with mom, you have to fight until the bitter end. It'll probably take multiple days. It will take multiple days. Like it will take days before I get a text that's like, let's talk about it. I understand this specific thing that you said, right? So I agree in that context. But in my context, I'm very quick to say that you were right in this way. In this way, you were wrong. You were not in the car with me with beer.
But that said, Bridge, I'm listening to you. No one else in this podcast is listening to you, but I'm listening to your words that you are saying you don't feel like you have
But
this.
Didi, you described your frustration with me and Veer, not just Veer.
Because it was snowballed from Veer to you, and you didn't seem to understand what I, as the oldest sibling who's actually trying to make sure that you guys ate food, figured out.
Hold
I
on.
didn't want to spend my New Year's Eve hopping from restaurant to restaurant where we couldn't get a table.
Me and Veer both wanted to sit down and eat. That was what we both expressed that we wanted to do. There was always
nobody expressed that to me.
Yes, there was. That was very well expressed by both me and Veer, especially when we went to one restaurant.
By Veer, no.
He said, "I agree."
No.
He said, "Yes." So then you kept trying to rush us into situations where we didn't want to be in, and then blame everyone in the world except for the fact that like
you were the one who brought us to that restaurant. It had no tables.
Yes,
it was
and then
already,
we were ready to leave.
No, it was already 11 p.m. at night. We were in Boston at a random place. We were at the restaurant. There was nobody to take our order. There was nobody to take a table. I had finally convinced this one person, please, if you will let us, we will order to go and we will eat at the hotel. We were already at the place. While I was doing that, you were searching for another place to go to. You were wasting all the time.
Because we did not want to sit. We wanted to sit down and eat. That's what we wanted to do. It had nothing to.
At a certain point, Bridge, it's 11 p.m. at night.
But there was always an option.
No.
It's not like there was no options. There was one option. That was just a back.
You know what, Bridge? This just goes to show how you're willing to just waste time like this.
How is that wasting time? We checked it out. It didn't work, so we were going to go to the backup option,
and we only
which we went
checked
there
out
to
that
do.
place because you picked that place. You picked that place.
There
and
was
you
no
didn't
other
call.
place to pick out.
You didn't
I
call
checked out one place.
You did not call ahead of time to be like, hey, do you guys have a table? Hey, whatever. I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to trust Bridge. We had to get in a car, drive 8 minutes, then drive back. It was already 11:30. And then you know what? I was just sitting there like I could have spent San Francisco New Year's Eve with all my friends where we would have just sat in one place and done one thing.
You said during all of this, I'm just going to go to sleep hungry before we even did that. After your place that you called canceled on you and they were closed, you were going to go to sleep hungry before we even went to this place.
Zarna, what is the purpose of this podcast?
Okay. I think let's just put a pin on this. And clearly, discussions get heated, and we should talk about how we control the heat when we get really upset.
No, Mom,
We-
you are the worst at controlling the heat.
I'm the
This is
most
why-
control
this is why
heated
I can't
person.
take it seriously when you say
I
this.
keep my water bottle handy all the time. I even keep my backup water bottle handy because you guys bring me
By
to
the
the
way, you
point.
again stole my Lagavulin. Like, why is this
Oh
sitting?
my god! Like you,
This is my Lagavulin.
quiet, chalo. Anyway,
This
is
episode is a
this
mess.
episode is going to end up creating more fights than we had anticipated, and we don't want to start the year off like this. We are so sorry if we're bringing up like difficult topics in your family, but maybe teach us, educate us on how you resolve your fights. This has been a riveting episode on how to resolve family disputes or not, or find out new ones. We're not sure what even the title of this episode is, but it has been riveting, and we want to hear your thoughts on this. And as we end every episode with a round of good grades with Gargs, we are going to so do that with this, which each Garg assigns another Garg an A grade, and you guys are invited to assign one of us an A grade. So who wants to go first?
I wanted to assign my A grade to myself, but then I figured that since it's season 3, I'm going to wait to play that card in a later episode. So I'm going to assign it to you, Mom, specifically for the insight that if you're going to apologize, then actually apologize. Bridge, you apologized to me in that car. You clearly didn't mean it, and your apology means nothing to me now.
Okay, and not to continue fights.
Okay, I want to assign my A grade.
Yes.
I want to assign my A grade to Mom. I do agree with that if you're gonna apologize, apologize. If not, I also think that Didi, if we didn't apologize, you would have sat that 4 hours in silence and being upset, and us apologizing was the only reason you were able to communicate anything to us during that entire car ride. And understanding that this family, everyone is extremely depressed if they don't get an apology. I had to do what I had to do, and I also want to point out that right before that, Mom did tell me and Veer not to apologize too. Anyways,
What are you talking about?
we said in the restaurant, me and V were talking about. We said, okay, we should just apologize just to make her feel good. And then Mom said, no, you.
No, hold on.
Mom!
No, Mom said you don't owe her apology because she's
No,
being
no.
crazy in the morning.
Wait.
That is what she said.
You betrayed me!
Oh yeah, did you hear what he just
I'm
said?
retracting my A grade.
No, hold on. Did you hear what he just said? He said, I'm just going to apologize to make her feel good. And what did I tell you?
No, I said we should apologize, and you said no, you shouldn't.
No, I said you cannot apologize if you don't mean the apology.
That is not what.
No,
This is a very selective memory going on right now.
I would ever, Bridge, I don't know why you come in with a fighting mode today. Like, why would I ever endorse the bad behavior between you and Zoya? I said you cannot apologize.
Mom, did you or did you not say that she's being crazy this morning to the boys?
I said that I don't know why she's being
You
crazy.
didn't say no.
But Zoya, I don't know what happened. I literally didn't know what happened the night before. Nobody was telling me anything. I was working till 1 o'clock. Why don't we tell the audience about that? That while you guys were at least
We were also working that night. I
Okay.
actually cannot do this anymore.
Okay.
I'm going to give my A grade to Zoya. I think, Beta, you're so articulate. You talk so well. And I'm really, really impressed. I mean, I know you care more about your computer science degree than your classics degree. But I promise you that over the course of your lifetime, this classics degree is going to come in way more handy when you either stand for president or anything else.
What is
I have never
How does that
felt,
relate to
I
anything?
have never felt
That made
I
no
have-
sense for the episode.
I have never felt more strong allegiance to Dad Garg in this family ever in my life
my
before.
God.
Like,
That literally
I
made
have
no
never-
sense.
I have never
don't know
felt,
how to relate
I
to
have
this
never
episode at
felt
all.
more seen
I'm
and
like-
more appreciated, and the loyalty that I have to Dad Garg is like it'll last for years now. So don't even
Okay,
try
you
and
know
fight
what?
with him.
Everybody in this family gets an F. Please don't take advice from us on how to resolve anything. We clearly don't know. In fact, give us advice. Feel free to tell everybody in this family they got an F. Did you see how this came a full circle? And my husband somehow became a hero by not doing it.
I'm just appreciating a classics.
I was working New Year's Eve. The kids were working New Year's Eve. He went home. He probably ate and
He
went
was working that night too.
Oh,
don't.
now there's an alliance.
There is an alliance,
Mother
and it's a
daughter.
very, very strong alliance.
All right. You know what? I've had enough. I don't even know if this podcast is going to continue at this rate. but I want to hear what you're thinking, what you're saying. And if you enjoy our podcast, please hit like and subscribe to it, because we are trying to grow it, and it helps us if you subscribe to it. We're going to be releasing more content, mostly me by myself, because these thankless people deserve nothing. And but thank you so much for watching. This has been a riveting and eye-opening episode for some of us who feel completely betrayed. It was a 8-2 Brutus moment for many of us in podcasting history. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
A2 Brutus?
it was like
I was the one saying "Et tu, Brutus." I was the one.
Oh my God.
Just stabbed me, and I was dying.
Okay,
"Et tu,
anyway,
Brutus."
thank you so much for watching and
Welcome
listening.
to season 3.
Bye.